Hey there, Magnus. Thank you for joining in tonight. Mark, welcome back again. Good to see you. We got a few people signed up for tonight, so I'm going to give them a couple of minutes just to get signed in and ready to go. But definitely appreciate y'all being here on time, ready to learn. Tonight will just be about PLU specifically, as you kind of read in the email. Definitely going to have time for Q&A at the end as usual. Be about 30 minutes of a presentation, and then we'll go ahead and get you out for the rest of your night. But again, appreciate you all taking the time out of your night. Hopefully the week has been good up to this point. It's Friday tomorrow, so you can't be mad about that at all. This is the last of these little videos that I'm doing. Hopefully you had a chance to go to some of the other ones. If not, I'll get these recordings all out to you guys as counselors, so that they can be accessible by you and your peers and everybody else, family, whoever didn't get a chance to join previously. These will be available shortly. I just need to go through, review them, and make sure that they're all good to go, okay? As always, if you need to or would like to, throw any questions out, please use that Q&A button as you kind of scroll down towards the bottom of your window. You can find that Q&A tab, click on that, and please feel free to add anything there. If I see them during, I'll address them then. If not, then I'll make sure to get to them once I'm kind of done with everything. Hopefully this just gives you a chance to learn some new information or relearn, rehear some things maybe you already know, but some good reinforcement info as we're kind of moving through this process, okay? I give them like another minute or so just to make sure that everyone who does want to be here gets a chance to join in. Okay. We'll go ahead and cut the minute short just for the sake of time. Again, appreciate y'all being here on time, so I want to get going for you. As always, my name is Brady, one of the counselors at PLU, working specifically with Clover Park School District, as well as some other places right here in our local area. Graduated from Clover Park High School in 2013, PLU in 2017. Have been working in this area for 4 years now. So I just love, being able to go back to Lakewood, the place that I'm from, and now pass this information along, give y'all an opportunity to learn about a local school. It's a great choice if you're looking to stay here in the neighborhood and in the community, and help you just learn about what your options are, okay? So I'll go ahead and start my screen share for you. And as always, if there's questions, go ahead and just pop them in that Q&A box and you'll be good to go. The PLU, hopefully you've had a chance to visit at some point in the past. If you have not before, or if you're looking forward to, we do have in-person visits available right now on a limited basis. Otherwise, virtual things like this are really good to go to, just to keep learning. And as always, things like calls, emails, text, social media, all that stuff is available. But PLU, we're a small private level art school. Our mission statement right down there at the bottom talks a lot about things like leadership, service, inquiry, and care, in the sense of, yourself, your community, and the other people around you, right? The earth. So how are you integrating these values into all the people you're involved with? And what are you going to do throughout your 4 years of college to really make the most of that experience, and then carry that with you into your job or career, graduate school, whatever your next step is afterwards. So really try to uphold those values as we go through our day-to-day lives on our campus, and hopefully give you some tools that are going to make you, well equipped for life after college is done. Again, if you've been around the area, what this region, this community is like. We're close to downtown Tacoma, about 15 minutes away. Some really good opportunities for social and professional development is what you have at a place like PLU. As you can see on that map, we're super close to a lot of really popular places like Seattle and Tacoma and Olympia. If you're more about the outdoor recreation life versus, the city life, getting to places like Mount Rainier, out to the coast, right here in the Sound, like all these things are available. And it's things that students really appreciate about the Pacific Northwest. If you're from here, a lot of people want to stay here. If you're not from here, a lot of people really flock to an area like this for all these really good resources and just the place that we live in. So Tacoma is one of the only, is in the top 50 college cities in the entire country, the only one in Washington State on that list. And so we're really proud to be associated there. More specifically, we're located in Parkland, right? Again, about 15 minutes between Parkland and downtown Tacoma. But really just try to be integrated into the community we're a part of. So PLU's campus kind of bleeds right into Parkland, and we really enjoy that. So the Parkland mural was made up, maybe you've seen this before in the past, but made up from PLU and Parkland community members together to really illustrate the history of where we came from, and also look forward to the future for where we're going. But really love to see ourselves at PLU and the Parkland community members be involved with one another, and not have a separation or a boundary there. But definitely some cool places to check out, really close by to campus, and it's really easy to access other areas that are not too far away as well. And again, just continuing to highlight the PNW. If you like that city life, great. If you like the outdoor recreation life, a little bit quieter, great, right? All those things are accessible. And again, you know that if you're from the area. So I won't spend too much more time on that. But quick facts about PLU, we are about 3,100 students strong. Again, it's a small private liberal arts institution. Average class size is about 20 students per class. Student to faculty ratio is about 12-1. So you're going to have people around all the time to help you learn, help you grow. If you have questions, there's really not going to be a shortage of staff and faculty around to ask. And that can really benefit you as an incoming student to just help with your transition to college, but also help you grow while you're there. It's easy to walk across campus and see familiar faces, and it's also easy to make your own individual experience at PLU a possibility. So you're not going to be known by every single person. You don't have to know every single person, even though it's a smaller campus. I'd say probably like 2/3 to 3/4 of people that I graduated with back in 2017, I had no idea who they were. But my particular people through my major, which was kinesiology, through football, which I was involved in, through track, which I was involved in, like those people I knew super well. And so you get a chance to find your smaller community within PLU, and you'll know those people really well. So you'll get a chance to be close to your peers and faculty members in that sense. It's a lot about relationship building, and so we love to talk that up on our campus. When you look at the numbers, right, what is PLU's makeup? When you look at diversity in different aspects, when you look at academics, about 38% of our students identify as students of color, which is huge, especially for private universities. When you look at first generation students, about 1/3 of our students are the first in their family to go to a four-year university like PLU. And then average weighted GPA is a 3.7. It takes into account AP classes, but you don't have to have a 3.7 to get in, or be successful. But these are just some base numbers. Highlighting the students of color and the first generation is not just to say that we're heading in that right direction, but really it is about providing the resources for students who identify in these two categories or one or the other, to help you feel supported and feel like you have a place on campus. And so we're really proud to continue in that journey, as we go from year to year. When you look at our education, PLU is a liberal arts institution. It's comprehensive, which means that at the beginning, you're doing liberal arts, which is similar to high school in the sense that you're taking classes in lots of different areas, right? Things like humanities, for instance, natural sciences, social sciences, English and math, PE, right? Those kinds of areas are your kind of base for your education. And then as you progress, if you want to study business or kinesiology or nursing, if you want to study history, right? That's the comprehensive side where you're getting more professional skills. You're getting better equipped to go into that particular realm or that particular career later on down the road. But you kind of get the best of both worlds. So if you know what you want to do, that's awesome. If you have no idea, then you're fine because you have time to figure that out, kind of test the waters as you go along. When you're looking at humanities, this is where you'd find our languages that we offer, as well as things like philosophy and religion. Part of your general education courses is taking things like philosophy and religion, some things you probably have never done in high school, but you get a chance to add that perspective to whatever major you're going to end up taking on at the end of the day. The natural sciences is our largest division. So you're looking at things like biology and chemistry, computer science and math, geosciences, dual degree engineering, which is a 3-2 program. So spending 3 years on our campus and 2 years on another campus to earn 2 bachelor's degrees. Looking at if you want to go into like medical school or dental school, for instance, doing the pre-health sciences track on our campus is really, really strong for our students. And that's where you'd see pre-med, pre-dental, all those kinds of areas. But definitely a lot of faculty here, a lot of research opportunities here as well. and again, part of your general education courses. Social sciences, similar that there's a lot of research opportunities here, but different in the sense of what you're kind of looking at. The social sciences, you're not in a lab setting, for instance, like natural sciences, but it's more so about learning cultures, people, history, social interactions, all those kinds of things. So things like anthropology, sociology, psychology are the big three. Criminal justice is brand new on our campus this fall, which we're really excited about. Pre-law and social work has always been popular as well. So you can expect to take some of these classes as part of your gen eds too. Then you're diving into our small schools on campus. So arts and communication, you can find art, music, theater, dance, and then of course communication has their own branch within the small school. There's also a lot of artistic achievement awards that you can apply for if this is something that you are looking forward to studying or just being involved in. And I'll talk about that a little later on. School of Business at PLU is a top 3 program. You can see all the different concentrations there on the screen. So you can get your general, bachelor's in business administration, and then you can also add on one of those concentrations or 2 of them if you want to get more specific. But it is a direct entry program, meaning that you do not have to apply separately to our School of Business. If you want to study business, then you can automatically just declare being a business major. There's only 3 programs on our campus that you have to apply to separately, which would be nursing, social work, or education. Everything else is direct entry, so you can just automatically start into it as long as you are doing well in classes, meaning a 2.0 and higher as far as your gen eds go and your prerequisites. But again, a top 3 program prepares you really, really well for the life after college. And we do also have a master's program, so you can get your MBA or master's in business administration in just 1 year through a fast track at PLU. Education, if you're looking to teach K through 8 at all and go that route, this would be your bachelor's degree. If you want to teach in high school, then you would study whatever you want to teach. If it was math, for instance, you would get your bachelor's in math and then go on to get a master's degree in education within just 1 year. But our teachers do really well. It's a top 3 program on campus. A lot of districts, rave about PLU students that go on to teach there and how they exceed expectations. But you're prepared really well with a lot of student teaching hours and opportunities. And it's something that we've held at a really high standard for a long time. So definitely expect some good instruction there, some good experience and well preparation before you leave our campus. Kinesiology is within that same school. So the School of Education and Kinesiology. This is one of our faster growing programs on campus. Super popular if you're a student athlete, if you just want to be involved in health and fitness in any way, shape, or form. So exercise science, physical therapy, health and fitness education and promotion are 2 different ones. So a lot of opportunities here, and we just started our master's program this past summer, and that's going pretty well for our students in that realm too. And then our School of Nursing, again, a top 3 program here. You do apply as a senior in high school if you want to go for your conditional admission here, meaning that if you are conditionally admitted to the nursing school, then you have a spot saved for you to start your junior year. If you don't get in conditionally admitted, you can always reapply as a current student on campus. But by far, we have the most hands-on hours that students will have the opportunity to be a part of. So you're going to have a lot of experience under your belt. And our students who go through this program do really well, again, in the real world, prepared through labs, through lectures, through group work you get to do, all the clinical experience, both on campus, off campus. And we just are opening up a brand new nursing facility. So our students have more simulation labs to utilize, more classroom spaces, more offices for our faculty. And so we're really looking forward to seeing that open up really soon. And then interdisciplinary programs. These are a few of the highlighted ones, but basically you're taking something and matching it with another major or a minor on campus. So you can tack these on as minors or majors. That's totally fine. Gender, sexuality, and race studies is the newest you can find in this program anyway. Obviously really, really important to our climate we're living in right now. But this is just to show you don't have to stick in one box or one lane at PLU. If you want to have that broader global perspective, add on something from interdisciplinary programs or make this your major, and you'll be able to get that broader, mindset and different perspective that maybe you don't get in some of your other classes. I did mention a little bit about research. These are some of our more recent ones you might be able to find that have happened on campus. Excuse me. But research is big in the sense that it gives you professional experience before you're gone. So when you go to apply to graduate school, you go to apply for a job. If you have that research under your belt, and if you've already have your name published with your professors, for instance, if you've been able to present your research at a conference, a local or national conference, that's a big deal. So if you want to take a look at this, professors are constantly doing research on our campus, and they enjoy having students, help them out and learn that process. So it is a big benefit. It's not a requirement by any means, but a lot of students will look to take this on just to help them, again, gain that professional experience, be in that particular environment, and that can really be something that can boost you above some of your competitors or peers if you're looking again for that job application or graduate school application after you're done at PLU. Another way to get experience, right, besides research is things like internships or field work. So almost 2/3 of our class from 2019 had some sort of, real world experience there, depending on what they were doing. But you can see a list of some areas that students have gone off to work, where they're currently working. But we have a big alumni network, and people from PLU who graduate, they love to just give back and continue to help that next set of Lutes along the way. So through LootLink, that's our alumni network. You can easily get connected to those individuals once you become a PLU student. But our our center, excuse me, for student and alumni engagement is really going to help you with things like resume writing, grad school applications, mock interviews, getting you set up with alumni, help you get prepared for job fairs and interviews and those kinds of things. So a lot of people through that department, then also through the Center for Student Success, your academic advisors are really going to strive to put you on a four-year graduation path as best as they possibly can, regardless of what your major or majors are. And they're just there to help guide you, give you some ideas if you don't know quite what you want to do, but also, help encourage you to try something different or outside the box if you're not quite sure where to go. But you can definitely become a part of that inclusive and really supportive, PLU network one day. As you look at, what are you involved in? Hopefully, I know it's kind of tough right now, but hopefully you have some sort of involvement or did in the past, things you want to continue on once you get to school, in college. But if it's academic clubs, if it's cultural clubs, social support on campus, political and religious clubs, just for fun clubs, just getting out and meeting new people, right? All these things, music and art, right? These are all ways you can get involved. Intramural sports is really big if you want to be active, but don't necessarily want to play a varsity sport, or have that time commitment. But these are great ways to be involved. So we have a lot of opportunities, and I would definitely encourage you to check them out. Our cultural clubs are really popular. Our affinity groups on campus are really popular too, that you don't necessarily have to identify with, but just go and learn more about what that culture, brings to our campus and how you can be involved. I try to encourage students to try things out. If you like it, great. If you don't like it, you don't have to go back. People on campus are really supportive of that and just want you to have that opportunity to give it a shot and see what you like or don't like. But this can really help you find your place on campus, find a sense of community within PLU. Myself, I was part of one of the gaming clubs on campus when I was a student there for a year and a half or so. And I was part of one of our athletic religious groups anyway, Fellowship of Christian Athletes. So I had a couple of things. And then, of course, my bigger involvement was in sports. But those really helped keep me balanced between school and life and everything else that was going on, and kind of helped me stay level head throughout my time. As I kind of mentioned, speaking of sports, we do offer 19, varsity athletic opportunities. And so 9 on the men's side, 10 on the women's side. We do not offer any athletic scholarships, but these students are really, really competitive. Really look forward to competing at a high level and just want to continue, that team aspect for the next 4 years as long as I can. So if this is something you're interested in, goloops.com is a great place to get information, or reaching out to me and I can talk about this for days just because I went through that myself. But if it isn't what you're looking for by any means, then just supporting your fellow Lutes is really cool. With a smaller campus, you're going to know people who are competing. They're going to be your roommate or your wingmate or people from your class. And that can just really breed a fun and supportive environment that you can become a part of, as you kind of support your classmates and peers along their journeys and endeavors. Okay, so looking at when you're living on campus, or what is it like to live on campus? Since y'all are so close, you can live at home if you're within 25 miles and live with a parent, and commute from home if you want to. Majority of our first year students, about 85%, are going to live on campus. And I'd say overall, about 80% of our students as a whole student body live on campus. But you can choose from these different communities to be a part of. So I'll use myself as an example. I studied kinesiology, so I easily could have been in possibly the STEM house or the wellness house. I could have chosen, because I identify as a student of color, I could have chosen to live in the students of color wing. So you're choosing these areas where it's an academic interest or it's a personal identity, for instance. Um, and that gives you a place to live with other people who also identify in the same way as you do, or are also interested in the same thing you are. Doesn't mean you have to be the same person, or there's going to be a lot, everyone's going to think the same way, but you at least have something in common. You'll take a class with these individuals as well, and you'll have conversations based around what your, community is rooted in. So it gives you a way to transition to school pretty easy, and help you just find your community on campus. If you don't live on campus, you still can become a part of one of these as a commuter student too. So that's one nice thing about it. But most students will live on campus their first 2 years, and then they'll move off to South Hall, which is our apartments available for students, find their own apartment close by, or a lot of us will end up going and living in houses right in the parking community. So you can rent out a home with your friends, and split that, however many ways, depending on how many people are there. But being on campus is a big deal just because it helps ingrain you, into what we're doing, as a PLU community. And I think can really, again, help with your overall experience and your transition into college as you're kind of, becoming that young adult and learning more about yourself. Myself being from Lakewood, I wanted to live on campus. I lived with one of my best friends from high school, and that was a really, really enjoyable experience. But I also would go back and forth from home to campus pretty often because my family was important. So that was one of the keys to choosing PLUs, because it is close by. But I got the best of both worlds. I was independent on campus, and then I could fall back on family, when I needed that reset button or just wanted to spend time with them. Then one of the other, key trademarks of being a PLU student is global education. So not all of us study away, but majority of us do, in some way, shape, or form. But you'll have a global education just through your general classes anyway. But if you want to study away, know that we have plenty of opportunities. As you can kind of see on the screen, right? We were the first university to send students and faculty to all 7 continents at the same time. And we're in that top 20 nationally for, the percentage of students that study abroad. Um, it's just about half or 50% of our students will study away at some point. And you can see all the places that we have opportunities there, regardless of major or minor or sport or music involvement or whatever the case is, jobs, all those things, right? You can study away. So it's just talking to your advisor early and often and making it known that this is something you want to do and you're interested in, and then they can find a way to help you fit that into your schedule. Um, for semester long programs, your financial aid will actually follow you. So it's the same amount essentially to study away in Africa or Europe as it is to be at PLU's campus. For what's called January term or J term, so during the month of January, we just take one class and you're in that for about 3 to 4 weeks, versus a semester is about 4 months long. So J term is a separate cost, but we do have scholarships specifically for J term that you can apply for. And that can work really well for students if you don't want to be gone for that entire fall or spring. If you just kind of want that quick global education experience and then you're back on campus. It is a global education experience, not necessarily a vacation. Um, so you are looking for ways to go out and see the world, have a different perspective, and then bring that education back to PLU's campus and really, show how you've changed in the different ways that you think, and share that with your peers who don't get a chance to go, or choose not to go anyway. But I definitely would encourage you to take an opportunity to at least look at it and then decide later on if you really want to pursue it or not. Okay. So kind of logistics here. This is what the application looks like. You have a couple different ways to apply, but they're both free. Either the common application, you can apply there, or through Act 6. So if you want to apply to the Act 6 scholarship, you can use that as your PLU application, and that works totally fine. If you have no idea what Act 6 is, email me after this, or let me know and I can talk about that too. But we do look at your transcripts. We want to see what kind of grades you have, what kind of classes you're taking, how has your grade trend been throughout your time in high school, a letter of recommendation from a teacher or counselor. And then if you have additional people like a coach or a mentor, a choir director, right, someone along those lines, they can also write about you. Your essay or personal statement is going to be 100% you. Highly suggest getting it revised and edited and have other people look at it. But whatever you decide your story is going to be, use that to your advantage and really help me learn as your admission counselor more about you as a student than I can learn from your application. If you pick something that's already on your application, make sure you dive in with lots of details. I read a lot of applications every single year, and so it's tough sometimes to know every student by face and name and their story. So this can really be an opportunity to help me learn more about you. So I hope you take the time to put together a really solid essay that you're really proud of. The application itself, again, common application or Act 6, they're both free. And then test scores are optional. So if you have SAT or ACT, great. If you want to submit them, our average is right under 1200 for SAT and about 26 for ACT. Doesn't mean you have to have those, again, to get in by any means. Same thing as a GPA. You don't have to have a 3.7 weighted GPA. Our test scores are a little bit skewed because we have been test optional for a couple of years. But if if a student is a 3.7 student and they have an 800 SAT, for instance, I would suggest for that student to be test optional because their transcript says a lot more about who they are as a student and an academic than their test score does. I'd rather see 4 years of hard work rather than 3 to 4 hours of a standardized test. Just keep that in mind. But if you have questions, always let me know, and we can talk about that and advise you one way or the other. So when we receive all of those pieces by one of our priority dates, then we get back to you by the next one. So it's about 3 to 4 weeks of a turnaround. You can apply after January 15th if you don't get it done by then, and it still works the same way. But it's always going to try to shoot for that 3 to 4 week timeline. As long as you're using the Common App. If it's the Act 6 application, that does take a little bit longer, but we still try to get back to you pretty quickly with your decisions, okay? And then as you go through this process, if you are admitted, you're automatically considered for an academic scholarship, which ranges between $6,000 and $27,000 per year. You'll have that based on your GPA for the most part and test scores if you submit them. And then if you happen to have a 3.8 weighted GPA, a 1310 SAT, or a 28 ACT, you can apply for the presidential scholarship separately. That's due December 1st. So you have to be applied to PLU and the scholarship by December 1st. And then that presidential scholarship, if you do receive it, which is about 20 to 25% of students, you get $30,000 per year. And then you have an opportunity to interview for up to full tuition. It does replace your academic scholarship, but it is a bump up. So it's always good news. So if you meet that eligibility requirement, please apply. There's a separate essay and more of a leadership resume that you do need to fill out. But you want to give yourself the chance at the most scholarship money that you can get. So why not if you have one of those 3 eligibility requirements. The academic scholarship does not require a separate application that comes with your PLU admission already. And then the other ones down there that you see, if you're a college-bound student, if you have a 3.3 weighted GPA or higher, then automatically you're going to have the 253 PLU-bound scholarship, which means full tuition to attend PLU as long as you remain college-bound throughout your 4 years. That's a huge amount of scholarship money. And at that point, you're just deciding, do I want to live on campus and how do I pay for that? Or do I want to commute from home, which makes your education and experience at PLU extremely cheap and very, very affordable. So if you are college bound, please keep that in mind. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, that's more than okay. But it's just for those college bound students, okay? The fine art scholarships, again, if you're interested in any of those areas, art and design, dance, music, or theater, then we do have additional scholarships you can audition for or apply for, submit a portfolio. And those do start at $1,000 per year. And then it just depends on the department and how many they're giving out or how much money they're giving out each year. I've seen students get, 4,000 or 5,000 up to 7,500. So there's some good money there to be made as well. But a majority of our students are not going to pay the overall, the solid sticker price, because a lot of them, almost all of our students have financial aid in some way, shape, or form. So just keep that in mind. We're actually the #1 school in the state of Washington as far as financial aid goes, and #9 in the country, which just came out earlier this week. And so we do give out a lot of financial aid based on merit, based on need. And then students typically bring some outside scholarships in with them as well. And that all works really well together to make PLU pretty affordable. And then last slide here, you maybe have heard of this before, maybe not, but we do have a loan repayment assistance program called PLU Pledge. So as an incoming student, you may end up taking student loans, which nobody really enjoys or wants to hear, but it's the reality of going to school, especially going to private schools, um, is that you might need to take out a student loan to cover that $2,000 or $3,000 that you're short of, right? So the PLU Pledge, what it does is that you sign up for free as a senior in high school. And if you get to PLU and end up taking any student loans, or if your parents take a parent loan, once you get your bachelor's degree and you start working full time, if you're making less than $50,000 per year and you're paying off at least the minimum loan payment per month, then this company is going to end up sending you checks to help reimburse your student loan payments. So it depends on how much money you're making, for your year. But they're going to send you a check based on how much money you're making. And it's going to give you a percentage back to help you pay those loans back. So it's a really awesome program. The only students that are not allowed to sign up are intended nursing students, but everybody else is open and available for this program. Intended nursing students, once they graduate, they're going to make more than the 50,000 per year. So it's just not, there's no point in having them sign up for it. But for a student that maybe is really following their passion, or they end up in a job that's like an entry level position that maybe they didn't think they would have right away, let's help you get on your feet. So here's this free safety net that's never going to have any sort of fees or interest or anything like that available to help you out. If you sign up and never use a loan, or if you sign up and you take a loan and then your first job you're making 60,000 a year, then no harm, no foul, anything like that. It's just there to help you in case you need that assistance. Okay. But if you hear about this, you might get calls or emails. Sign up for it, just get it done out of the way. It's a pretty quick and easy process as far as I understand. But you'll want to do that at some point during the senior year. Okay. If you want more specific information about PLU, you can always scan that QR code, the first year code, and that will prompt you to fill out a form really quick. It's about 90 seconds, maybe 2 minutes of your time. And that gives us your specific information. Things you want to learn more about PLU rather than the general information. But as always, you can reach out to me and hopefully continue that conversation as we go through the school year. Okay. I'll leave that for just another second or so in case you are taking a quick scan of it. I'll go ahead and stop sharing now for you. Okay. So that is what I have as far as, this kind of talk goes. Again, hopefully some of these things may have been repeat for you. Some of these may be brand new if you haven't heard it before. But if any of you have questions, please feel free to put those in the Q&A box. And I'll give you all a minute to maybe think about some things before we head on out. Awesome. Yes, of course. And hopefully, I know it's tough with the world that we're living in and getting a whole lot more emails than you're probably ever used to. Calls, texts, all those kinds of things as schools and teachers are reaching out, counselors are reaching out. If you're feeling like overwhelmed with this process, like going to these kinds of things hopefully is beneficial and puts you in a mindset where maybe you feel a little bit better after these things. If you're tired of looking at the emails, right, you can take short breaks here and there, but a lot of that stuff is going to be important. So I just want to remind you of that as well. Whatever kind of works best, if it's email, if it's phone call, if it's text, if it's social media that you would rather talk through, right? You can always reach out to our PLU admission page and get really good information there too. But whatever kind of works best for you. We want to help out as as much as we can. Okay. I'm not seeing any questions to this point. Um, and if that is totally fine. Um, but if anything pops up later on, please let me know. And again, these will be out for the recordings will be out with your counselors shortly. So we'll have the whole month of things that I talked about. Okay. But if anything pops up, please let me know. Enjoy, the rest of your night. And thank you again for taking some time to be here with me tonight. And enjoy the weekend coming up as well. Be safe and have a happy Halloween. All right. I'll see y'all later.